Hello Virgo, how are you? Welcome to your July 2016 Love and General Tarot card readings. I'm going to go ahead and just get started here. Give me just a few seconds to shuffle. Okay, here we go. Okay, Virgo love reading. Okay, start with the Five of Cups in the very center of the reading because I'm feeling like you are reaching. Okay, you are reaching for something in the past, something that didn't work out, something that you feel regretful for, that you are feeling resentful for, and maybe having a difficult time turning around and seeing what's in front of you. Maybe there's a lot of time being spent looking back as opposed to looking forward. And I'm wondering if you haven't been giving too much, whether it's too much thought, too much attention, too much effort, towards something. A lot of times when I get this Six of Pentacles, I can see it really one of two ways. Either generosity of spirit and equality, or I often see it as inequality, which is completely the opposite, where one tends to give more. And in this instance, being surrounded with the Five of Cups and the Ten of Wands, I do feel like there is a weight on your shoulders, that there is something in your life that has been affecting you. I feel like you are ready, or you are, sorry, this candle's making some weird sounds. Like you are maybe trying to look forward, maybe trying to look past these things, and you're, I think, maybe taking a more practical and logical approach to it. You know, this can really speak to singles or people that are in a relationship. You know, if there is someone in your past, you know, that maybe you've had a difficult time, moving on from, maybe things just didn't quite work out, and yet you feel maybe a longing for them. And that longing has long since been a burden for you. It's stayed with you, it's stuck with you. And again, it has affected you. But now I think you are experiencing a period or a moment where you realize that you have to be proactive, that you have to look toward the future. Because maybe you just really don't have a choice. It doesn't stop you from that longing. It doesn't stop you from looking back. However, in your mind, I feel like you know it's time. You know that. And you might need to tap into this Queen of Swords self. Okay, being a queen as opposed to a king. You know, these queens are popping up all over the place. And the queens are more internalized versions of the energy. More internalized, meaning your thoughts, yes, absolutely, but really your thoughts versus your actions, versus the things that you do. You need to turn your mind around and look forward. I feel like there's almost like a lack of emotion here. We don't have a lot of cups. The only cups we have is the Six of Cups, and this is in reverse. Again, Six of Cups reverse indicates to me a letting go. These cups from the past, right? Someone that you've been hanging on to from the past, and if you're in a relationship, if you're in a marriage, I'll try to speak to it on all levels. Of course, it doesn't mean you're going to leave your partner or anything like that. Just that you aren't clinging to that anymore. Happier, I'm not saying that there's not happy times ahead, but it's very nostalgic, very reminiscent. And for some reason you are deciding, okay, and there is an element of suddenness here with the Tower, that now is the time to just live and learn. You live, you learn, and you move forward, okay? The suddenness is coupled with the Eight of Wands as well. For me, this is a swift acting movement. This is action, okay, right? So this is your thoughts, this is your internal self. You might even be sort of berating yourself a little bit and sort of kicking yourself in the head a little bit, mentally, and asking yourself, why did you let it get to be such a burden? Why did you allow it to overcome you so much? Why did you allow it to, and the list can go on and on and on of these questions that maybe you're asking yourself. You are being very powerful right now and harnessing and controlling yourself. And this can be a very difficult thing to do, is to not allow, we are not our emotions. Emotions are something that we have. Sometimes it feels like we can't choose to have emotions, right? Like they just come to us. We just happen to feel a certain way about something. But the Queen of Swords is the master of logic, the master of what makes sense, okay? And what makes sense for you might be to let something go. The Eight of Wands suggests a swift movement in this direction, a swift movement toward, I think you really want to move on. And I think even though there are some quote unquote scary and mysterious energies here with the Moon and the Tower, I think this is going to be very welcoming for you. I don't think you want to continue hanging on to these things anymore. Okay, this is a very open-armed introduction, and you're grateful for the change. And you're grateful and you're happy, and I think on some level you are a little bit excited to explore something, whether it is with someone new, whether it is a new direction with your partner, and whether it is even a new direction within yourself. Because when we give so much to someone else, so much time and attention and energy, and even, actually contributing resources to their cause, contributing resources to make their life easier, it can take a toll on you. And if it's not being reciprocated, especially if it's not being reciprocated, I think you're in a very good place right now to make some dramatically positive revisions. Okay, you are beginning a new chapter. Okay, maybe not a whole story, you're not completely scrapping the whole book. And I think you're going to be very able to use your experiences, very able to use the lessons that you've learned to your benefit moving forward. Okay, the Tower reverse indicates to me that something sudden may happen. Okay, it might feel hard, but really what I think this is sometimes it can even just be a cold hard dose of reality, and you coming to some form of realization that things need to change, and it can affect you and the people around you, and it might prove challenging. Okay, there's definitely nothing easy about a Tower coming in. Oftentimes there can be bad news associated with this. So in a relationship, if you're, it might even indicate, giving up of an idea, right? If you are, for example, trying to get pregnant, it's not happening, this can indicate letting go of that idea, that that's something that you want, and looking for new avenues. Okay, well, if you're not able to have your own children, do you adopt? Do you do the surrogacy thing? Or do you just continue your life without? Okay, and that's a really intense example. It doesn't have to be so dramatic, right? It could be, as a single, there was someone that just didn't work out, and maybe you have been holding on to them for quite some time. And the separation from that idea of what you wanted with them, what you thought you could have, what you feel your life would have been with them, sometimes it proves false, sometimes it doesn't come to fruition. And here you are separating yourself, and again, welcoming that change on some level. And again, the weight, there's a strong element here to me of weight, because of the Ten of Wands and because of the Two of Swords. You know, these swords are big and they are heavy, and to have your arms crossed against your chest, you know, it physically, it affects your breathing, it affects how you sleep, it affects how you can react and how agile you are. And I think you might have a difficult time kind of seeing your way out. You may have a difficult time understanding what steps might need to be taken. But the Queen of Swords sort of trumps this. You know, she's very clear-minded, she's very alert, she's very aware. And to have this energy about you, to have this energy, is something to be taken advantage of. Very clear-minded, very clear-headed, and I think there's an instinctual aspect to this that you just need to tap into it and to acknowledge its presence. You know, there might be something that you don't want to see. I think the answer here, whatever this tower represents, I think is something that you might be a little bit in denial about, maybe now, and maybe continue to be. But that letting go is very liberating. I'm going to pull out some more cards now because I feel like this story is very unfinished. And there's not a lot of resolution here, which for me is frustrating as a reader. King of Wands, he's been popping up a lot lately. This could be the person, okay? Could be the person, your partner, the person you're hanging on to, the person that you have this idea about, okay? Here he is, upside down. He's not the man you think he is. And I say man because it's a king and this is a queen, but not the woman, not the person you think they are. And I think for the first time, maybe ever, you might start to see them for what they really are. Okay, if you're just dating and this is someone that sort of struck your fancy and sort of intrigued you, and you know you were curious about, you might see some true colors coming out. You might see some, you know, this is a very honest person as well. You know, a lot of times with the, you know, the kings and queens, when they're in reverse, there's an element of dishonesty. But for me, I feel like this King of Wands can be too honest, right? Like to the point of being rude and mean and hurtful, but honest nonetheless. And being tapped into that Queen of Swords energy, I think you will I'm not going to use the word appreciate that because you might not appreciate it, but you might see it for what it is, and it might bring home some truths for you. Okay? This might be someone that you are, like I said, reminiscing about, that you're hanging on to, that's associated with something in your past. I think they themselves might be going through some form of a transition. Okay, King of Wands, it's the sign of transformation and change and continual, and gradual growth. Okay, King of Wands reversed to me indicates sometimes a lack of knowing where they're going. This could be a fire sign, Sagittarius, Leo, or Aries. There's some faltering. They don't know where they're going. They don't know what they want. And if you are able or willing to communicate things that you are feeling, things that you need to get off your chest, okay, they may or may not be willing to listen. They may or not be willing to, and if this is your long-term partner, your husband or your wife, you might get a little bit of an attitude with them, right? Like you might kind of see, like I said, some true colors coming out. But I'm seeing let me think. The Pentacles, Ace of Pentacles here indicates some form of opportunity coming in. However, in reverse, I feel like it's not necessarily going to be something that you want or something that really rings true, something that really is, just because the universe hands you an opportunity does not mean you have to take it, doesn't mean you want to take it. This could be something that they are offering that you're just not interested in, right? Wands are, or the King of Wands reverse, I think might be a little bit anti-committal, might want to have some, just some fun, I guess, if you will. And, there might be some pushback in terms of them saying, well, why can't you just have a good time? Well, why can't you just relax and chill out? Well, I'll tell you what, this is not an energy that can relax and just chill out and just go with the flow. Okay, she has purpose, she has duty. Okay, she's not just going to waste her time with nonsense. She has a place that she wants to go, and she's not going to just wait around for you. She's not just gonna, she's not just gonna mess around. It's for real. It's there. And so I think maybe there might be some sort of an offering here, but not something that you want, or maybe not something that you see clearly, or that's maybe not in line with what it is you really ultimately want. I think you have some decisions that really are going to need to be made. I don't see you committing to anything right away, but I see you kind of getting ready before you pounce, right? It's sort of like a cat trying to attack a little fly on the window or something. They step back, they sit, they wait, they watch, and then they wiggle their bum and then they pounce, And I think you're just sort of in that sitting back and waiting and watching mode to try to figure out what makes the most sense. Okay, remember, it's a very logical stance that you have, very logical air about you. And the question is what makes sense? Okay, and emotionally, I think things might get a little bit tough. Things might be challenging for you. But I think it's a change, like I said, that you are welcoming. You're welcoming this mystery. You're welcoming this unknown. You're welcoming this new chapter because something has not suited you in the past. Okay? Very interesting reading. I wish it was a little bit more positive. Being a Virgo, I do wish it was a little bit more positive. But sometimes that control of our life is what brings about the positive change. So let's go ahead and do your general reading. Okay. go. General reading for Virgo for July 2016. Okay. Oh shoot, my air conditioning, hold on one second. It's so loud. I don't know why it's so loud. Give me 1 second, I'll turn it off. Okay. The Two of Cups reverse to me indicates like some transaction not going well. And what's interesting is we have the Knight of Swords and the Knight of Wands, the same suits as the last reading. So this could really be of more romantic nature. Your life could be very romantically focused in July and coming into July. So not to say that it's completely that way, and I'll try to read it in other ways as well, but it's just sometimes the coincidence is just there. I mean, like I said, some agreement, some argument, some negotiation that really just might not go well. It might not appease you. What's interesting here is, now it's sort of flip-flopped. Now the sword is reversed, and now the wand is right side up. And your energies here are very much together. You're very much focused in on one another, which leads me to believe, this doesn't have to be a romantic partner. It could be a client or a customer of some sort. It could be a family member. If you are involved in some sort of negotiation process of any kind, I think this is, can apply in so many different areas. And like the last reading as well, the Ace of Pentacles reverse, it could indicate some lack of funds, okay, in a more practical way, financially. Maybe some opportunity just really didn't work out. Like I said, maybe a client doesn't work out, doesn't sign, or falls out, or you fire the client. There's very much an air of feeling stuck, of feeling trapped, of feeling like you're never going to get out of this cycle. But you know what? With Judgment here, not the only major arcana, but the only right side major arcana, it is a promise to you that things will be revealed. It is a promise that you will have an understanding of why you're here, why you're going through what you're going through. There may be even some feeling of feeling lost, of feeling like you don't know where you're going, you don't understand what your purpose is in life. You're feeling like you're faltering or you're flailing a little bit. And when you have the Knight of Swords, again, I feel like it's very much your energy, that sword-like energy. I know that's more of an, it's an air sign, but I just think mentally your mind is the front runner here this month. Okay, you're not necessarily emotionally driven. You are driven by logic. You are driven by common sense and what makes the most sense for you in your life. You're going to be very on point. You're going to be able to articulate your needs very well. Just because you're able to articulate it does not necessarily mean you will be able to come to an agreement, however, okay? This is not a time for pride, okay? This is a time for humility. Nine of Cups reverse, setting that ego aside and being very direct and being very honest with what you want. The universe is listening. You are beckoning, it is listening. And if you are in a relationship, whatever type of relationship, and I feel like it's more people oriented because we have, the human element here, but a work relationship, you and your boss, you and an employee, you and a client. If it is a family member, a mother, brother, sister, well, probably not a parent, could most likely be someone around your same, in your peer group, even a friend. Okay. Something isn't serving you. Now is the time to set that ego aside and be very direct and honest with that person. It's not going to make you feel good. I don't think you're going to necessarily feel confident. It might even make you feel irrational and make you feel like you're the crazy one, make you feel, and that's a lot of your beautiful Virgo. We self-criticize a lot. We self-reflect, we look back, and we're constantly berating ourselves for things that no one even really thinks about. It's really just us. And I think that there's going to be a lot of that going on. But it's time for you to really admit what it is that you feel and to communicate that to the person that is affecting you, okay? And to the person that is expending resources, your energy, your money, your emotions, whatever it is, this false opportunity or this, this thing that's not really as good as maybe it might seem. If it's not serving you, to be direct. And I think what you have to say isn't necessarily going to be what they want to hear. And I think it's going to put you both in a position of like weakness almost, okay? This isn't helping anyone for the greater good. It's not helping them get what they want. It's not helping you get what you want in the moment. But in the long term, when you express clearly what you want, not only are you then solidifying it and confirming it within yourself, you're confirming it and solidifying it with people in your life, whoever this is, and you are confirming it and solidifying it with the universe, with God, with the angels. When you say it, and you are clear and you mean it, and it comes from a place, a very authentic place, a very genuine place. As shitty as it might be to say, it's allowing the universe to take shape. Okay? I think it's not going to feel good. I think it's going to put you in a tight spot. I think it's going to make you feel like you made the wrong decision. I think it's going to make you, it's just the way you feel. It's what you think. Like I said, there might be an element of like feeling irrational. You're not being irrational. You just are telling yourself that that's the way you are. That's the self-reflection. That's the way your mind is working, but it's not. You may be unable to see the outcome. You may think that by expressing this thing, that you've put yourself in a box. You've now tied yourself in. Maybe it's some sort of an ultimatum. Maybe it's some form of ultimatum is the only really word that's coming to my mind. And when you put an ultimatum out there, again, that's not a negotiation. That's all or nothing, right? It's not compromise. It's all or nothing. And when you do that, you might feel like you've just trapped yourself. But I don't think you have. like I said, the universe is listening. The universe is, it's like a rebirth in disguise. Feels like you're trapping yourself. It feels like you're weak. It feels like you're irrational. But at the end of the day, you are just freeing yourself. Okay, so this was a really intense reading. Let me do the rest. Let me do the rest of the cards here. Okay, the Empress reverse. I think this month you have, I'm using the word masculine, but I'm not calling you masculine. I'm just saying you have a very outwardly projected air about you with the sword energy, with that intellect and that logic. And this is definitely a more masculine energy, right? It's about the action of those thoughts. It's about setting things in motion as opposed to just thinking them. Okay, it's about actually saying the things, not just thinking about the things you want to say. And the Empress reverse is a reminder for us to find our center. I love this card. It's not the card of Virgo, it's not, a Queen of Pentacles or anything like that. But for me, she's very similar to the Queen of Pentacles. And she's surrounded by earthly elements, and she brings life to things around her. She is a character of purpose. In reverse, I think it's a message for you to reconnect, to not get so caught up in the thoughts and the logic and the sense of everything, that you forget your true purpose. Why is it that you really want to say these things? Okay, and it's just a mirror image. It's simply like I said, a reminder, or it's for you to find some form of balance. These are two completely opposite types of energies. Okay, different colors, different genders, even. I mean, they're so opposite. This one much more haphazard than this one. This is a very equal balance within you, a very equal balance within yourself. She's been prominent this month as well. Her energy, the Empress energy. I love her more than any queen or any knight or any court card because she is a major. She is a trump card, and she wins. She beats all the other energies, right? She trumps them. And she is soft and approachable and warm. So the coupling of these two is very powerful, even with the Queen of Swords as well, very powerful, because you have the approachability, the warmth, the sincerity, and the authenticity mixed with the not taking any shit. And you're not going to put up with it anymore. And you are going to be direct. You are going to be honest. And you aren't going to have any qualms about doing so. And so it's good. I'm happy for this because I think she brings a nice energy, and she even matches with the strength as well. And she brings life, and she tames the beasts, right? I mean, here you are taming the beasts. You might not feel like you are, like I said, that feeling of irrationality, feeling like you're crazy, or you're probably going to tell yourself you're crazy for even thinking these things or for even wanting to say these things. This person probably isn't going to, really react the way that you want them to react. And like I said, you're going to feel like you're putting yourself in a box by doing this, by expressing this, by going through this negotiation or this process here. But And the moon again coming out, Six of Cups again coming out. There is that welcoming in of the darkness, that welcoming of the unknown. Once you say these words, you're not going to know what's going to happen, but you find comfort in that. It's very liberating for you because that darkness brings about possibility. It brings about optimism. And I think what's strange is the Six of Cups here. And I think you find a sweetness in your life, again, maybe a sweetness that has been missing, a sweetness that you have felt disconnected from, even a sweetness that you have been turning your back on. And when I say a sweetness, I mean like a real love for your life, a real love for the people around you, for the people that have been in your life. I feel like there's a connection here, friend-wise. I don't know why. I'm seeing it more on terms of like friends as opposed to, and friends can translate into the romantic department as well, but as opposed to a work relationship. Or if it is a work relationship, it's something that maybe started in a much more casual way, like you started a business together, or you came on board when the company was teeny tiny and now it's large, and so things have changed. But I think there's like a rekindling or a reconnecting of that energy, not necessarily bringing back the old relationship and having it the way it was, but there's a rekindling of that curiosity and of that excitement that maybe you felt once. And even the moon in reverse, there's one thing I do want to say, because it is coupled with the Judgment card. Even though it is dark, even though it is unknown and mysterious and scary, when it's reversed, it's like the moon is getting brighter, or it's like the sun is starting to come up, right? Like there's starting to be light. And like I said, though you feel like you're putting yourself in this box, it will only be temporary, and you will begin to see. You will be enlightened and awakened, and you will have some form of a new understanding of what things are supposed to be. So a very positive outcome for this. It's a very strange energy. I don't think I've ever done a reading like this before. So that's it. Thank you so much, Virgo, for being here. I'm so happy you came, and I will see you next month in August. Thanks.